It has been a very busy week for Respawn. We've got a new season of Apex Legends coming out, along with a new character Conduit, and another mysterious Titanfall 2 update. Over the last few weeks, Titanfall 2 has been receiving some small but interesting updates that are either hinting at a possible Titanfall 3, or just being a huge marketing campaign for Apex Legends. So let's start off by talking about the Advocate Network. Now the Advocate Network is the first network you join when you start up multiplayer. It's the default network, right? And for the longest time, the only message we had in the network chat was this: I am the Advocate. I can find work for pilots who have skills. Now this message wouldn't change until about a month ago when they decided to fix Titanfall 2 servers. It then read, I am the Advocate, welcome back to all pilots, after the servers were fixed. Then on October 19th, we got a new Stories from the Outlands trailer for Conduit, which, let's just say, focused on Titanfall heavily. And sure enough, there was another new message for the Advocate Network. It read, receiving encrypted message, transmission to pilot failed. Now that brings us to today. If you take a look at Titanfall right now, there is a new weekly game mode, and this game mode comes with a huge block of text. Receiving encrypted message, protocol unknown, failed to decrypt, printing raw message, and then it's followed by a bunch of letters and numbers. Now what exactly do these numbers and letters tell us? Well, the community figured that out. They figured out that all these numbers and letters correspond to hex codes, and when encrypted, it reads this message: from candy to copper, corruption detected. Shortly after this message was decrypted, the Advocate Network was again updated. I am the Advocate, message sent, no correction needed. So clearly, this was the intended message. Now what does it mean? The general consensus is that based on the wording of it, it's referring to wedding anniversary gifts. So each year you're married, you're supposed to receive some gift. And if we take a look, we can see candy is on the 6th anniversary, and then copper is on the 7th. Let's think back 7 years ago, what came out? If you guessed Titanfall 2, that's the right answer. Titanfall 2 was released on October 28th, 2016. Now we're only a few days away from the 7th anniversary. So who knows, we might have some big Titanfall news on the 28th. Only time will tell. Something that blows my mind is how quick the community can kind of gather together and just, decipher these encrypted messages. I don't know anything about hex codes, and I didn't know anything about anniversary wedding gifts. Needless to say, I would say everyone's pretty hungry for some Titanfall news. One other thing I wanted to mention was this bug I saw on Reddit. Apparently for a little bit people were getting to Titanfall 2 matches where at the start of the game, they jump out of the dropship and then this happens. They would break their legs on impact. So it turns out fall damage had been enabled for some reason. Just an odd byproduct of the limited time game mode that I'm about to talk about here. As you can see, the death says invalid, which is kind of odd. Regardless, it seems like these problems have been fixed. I played a few games today, online as well as private matches, to try to replicate this problem, and it's safe to say that nobody should be breaking their kneecaps anymore. Now let's go ahead and transfer over to the game modes we got this week. So the mysterious question mark weekly mode is skirmish, and it's essentially pilots versus pilots on live fire maps. Your main two weapons are your SMR and the silenced wingman elite, which normally you can't get. You have phase shift as an ability, and then you also can throw a pulse blade in your grenade slot. One other cool thing to take note of here is that your melee is that same blade melee animation from Coliseum. You also need to watch where you stand, because there's points on the map where there's electric storm gas, if that's what you would call it, and it hurts. This is a pretty fun weekly game mode. It can get a bit obnoxious with the melees, but as long as you don't take it too serious, it's a good time. The second game mode we have this week is Titan Marked for Death, which plays out exactly the same as normal Marked for Death. In case you haven't played this before, essentially one person on each team is picked at random to be the marked target. You need to protect whoever's marked on your team, but at the same time have to go out and kill their marked target. I've played a few games of this at this point, and it's a pretty good time. The spawns can be a little bit crazy, like you can literally spawn right in front of somebody and just get annihilated, but aside from that, it's pretty fun if you don't take it too serious. Both these game modes are double XP, so if you need to level up a Titan, or you want to level up your wingman or something, then you might want to consider giving these a try. To wrap things up here, if you had told me Titanfall 2 was going to get somewhat of a comeback this year, I would have thought you were crazy. On top of that, the game actually getting updates, pretty wild. I'm very excited to see if anything actually does happen. I mean, it has to, right? Why else would they waste their time putting these little messages in the game? If you wanted to see full matches of the new game modes, those will be on my second channel, RaidenLiveee with a 2. The purpose of this video was just try to consolidate all these different sources, so I'm going to include a lot of them down below. But that's all I got for now. I gotta go take more copium pills for Titanfall 3. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to let me know down below.